613 mitzvahs of the Torah plus the 7 mitzvahs of the Rabbanin are equaling 620, which represents the 620 pillars of light that join us, which is Kesser, which is basically the join. What is the idea of a pillar? It joins the roof to the ceiling to the floor. And we said this is like the mitzvahs in general, because the mitzvahs join Or Ein Sof into this world. So that's why there's 620 pillars of light. They're called pillars because they join the top to the bottom. And we see that the krushim, the atzei shitim, these pillars, so to speak, beams in the Mishkan, they were also called omdim. They're also like amudim means pillars, omdim means standing. So they serve the same function of being like standers, which join the top to the bottom. Why? For the reason that we said before. The whole idea is that what is the mitzvah is done with gashmias. It's done through converting the physical into holiness. Thus, it brings the will of Hashem all the way down to the lowest world. Since the Mishkan was the center stage for this activity, so the boards themselves were made out of pillars, showing that in that process was the joining of heavens to earth. And then we started talking about, you have the masculine and the feminine aspect of klippas. And this is what we call the kana of the kuf. Right? Gar chayis kana. There's a pasuk that says you shall sort of show rage against the beast of the reeds, if you recall. And we said the reeds, kana.
Oh, Rome. Rome was built on the reed, right?
Yeah, it was. But I think this is like maybe a different pasuk. It's just talking about the Indian of the beast of the reeds. But the reed in general was that kana of the kuf, that left leg that says was planted to build Rome.
What is referring to literally, beast of the reed?
It's just here. Literally means there's some kind of a beast in the reeds. I don't know.
Like a crocodile?
Something like that. It could be a crocodile. Yeah.
Is that some kind of reed that Rome? That you said Shlomo Chamelech?
That's what he just said. Okay, yeah. We spoke about the idea that Gavriel planted a reed and it turned into a coral and they built a city on it. And that reed is not the beast over there. That's not the beast. It's the look. Maybe you could say it is. If you want to get poetic over here, but the kana of the kuf, right, means that line of the kuf, which is the long left line. It's called a reed, right? So here we're saying that there's another pasuk in Tehillim which says that there's the beast of the reed. So then we started to, and you have to like destroy the beast of the reed. So we're saying that the beast, we spoke yesterday about the idea that there's two things going on here. There's the klippa, which is the masculine aspect of the klippa, which we talked about as like spilling seed. We talked about the idea that it's really the reish is like the masculine form of the klippa. Why? Because it's the seed of the idea. It's the potential of the thing before it manifests itself as an action. The action, I guess, would be like the manifestation, the feminine aspect of the klippa, right? So the words the beast of the reed refers to both the masculine and the feminine. The reed is the masculine, the beast is the feminine, and so it says we have to destroy the beast of the reed, right? And this is talking about uprooting and getting rid of the kuf, right? Both the masculine and the feminine aspects of the klippa. As we spoke at length yesterday about what those are, right? Everyone remembers? Yes. Okay, so going to the third line, page 124. The Gar Chayes Kana. So the idea that you have to sort of get angry and have vengeance, rage against this reed beast. Tzrichim lachris esakana. What does it mean? What do you do? How do you take vengeance against it? You have to cut down the reed. What does it mean? Shua kana de kuf. You have to cut off the kana of the kuf, the reed of the kuf, the left leg of the kuf. Korsim esakana shelakuf. When you cut the left leg of the kuf, what happens? Naisa hay. It becomes a hay. Right? If you take the left leg and you cut it in half, then the kuf becomes a hay. You transform it by cutting off the hay into the kuf into a hay. That's similar to what it says. Again, the similar idea that the kana v'suv, the reed and the suf is the seashore, right? You have to sort of take them down. V'tevas kana. When it comes to the word kana, shemikuf naisehei. Now, when you take the word kana, which means a reed, but you cut off the bottom, chop off the bottom of the kuf, and you make it into a hey, what happens? Az hine tevas hine. You come out with the word hine, right? Kane, if you take the kuf and turn it into a hey, it turns into the word hine. Behold, here it is. You got that?
Yeah.
And what is hine? Hine mora al hagiloi. Hine represents revelation, right? Like whenever the Hashem would speak to Abraham or Yaakov, Hineni, here I am, behold, I'm here, I'm showing myself. So this is the Indian of revelation. So you see what happens. The dafka, how do you create revelation? You need a kuf, and you need to overturn the kuf. Hiskafia. That creates the revelation. Not just stam having a hay, but turning the kuf into a hay.
Isn't that transformation?
Yeah.
Iskavka?
Yeah. Hiskafia and Hiskafcha. Right.
Of course, Iskafia and then Iskavka.
Right. That's the order. Kamosh Kasuv, and where do we see that the word hine represents revelation? It says Va'amar b'yomahu hine elokeinu zeh. It says on that day, behold our God. Here's our God. And it's talking about the futuristic revelation. It says hine elokeinu zeh. Here is our God. Behold, here he is. Hainu hagiloi or, which means a revelation of light. Sheyarav yizgal la'asid, which will shine and reveal itself in the future. So it really goes on like the future revelation, the word hine. And how do you get the hine of the future? It's through the avoda of now, of cutting off the kuf. Right? So the hine is waiting for us. All we have to do is cut off the leg of the kuf. Therefore, the main revelation of sovev light. And we said that the way sovev light shows itself is that it shows itself instantaneously in all the worlds equally. Right? Because why? Remember, it's not a type of light which is divisible. Right? Sovev light is not a light which you can have a little bit more of it over here and a little bit less of it over there. It's the light which is equal in all the worlds, the underlying energy which is indivisible. And therefore, if you get it, if you're able to reveal it, it doesn't reveal itself in some worlds and not in other worlds. It's either there or it's not. So he says that the main revelation of the sovev, which is the way it comes out, is that it's equally revealed in all the worlds. It's going to be primarily found in the body in the future to come. Right? Why in the body? Because again, the body is the lowest place. The body is the one place which is blocking the revelation of the sovev. It's the kof, it's the monkey, right? Which is basically acting foolish and keeping the ruach shtus from allowing godliness to be in that place. So finally, when it will do its job of undoing itself, it will be, so to speak, the center stage of the one who was responsible for drawing the sovev into all the worlds. So the ikar giloi will also be in that place. Not only giloi, obviously, as we just said, sovev, when it comes everywhere. But the ikar giloi, in other words, the one who brought it about, and therefore sort of the prize of the whole thing, is going to be in the goof, the physicality of the future. Does everyone understand that?
Mm-hmm. Physicality.
Yeah. And how do we get it to happen? How does the goof get that respectful place in the future? By the avoda of refinement which takes place now. We can't see the revelation now, but we're responsible for the rest. Every time you refine your body a little bit more, a little bit further, then you're doing the work of basically creating that revelation. It's just not shining here yet, but you've done it. You've drawn it down, and just a matter until the goof will be fully transparent that it can shine through. This that the soul comes down below, and it wraps itself into a body, an animal soul. And there's so many hold-ups and blockages, God forbid, al limud haTorah v'kiyum mitzvahs, on fulfilling Torah and performing mitzvahs. V'ara mizgaber ba'olam hatachtun, and the evil is so strong in this lowly world. Im kol zeh einu mispal mizeh klal, and nonetheless, despite all the balagan that goes on over here, you don't get affected by it. V'osek v'avodaso b'limud haTorah v'kiyum mitzvahs, and you keep going. You don't let the bad guys hold you down. You don't let the demons in your head say, "Oh, I missed this, so I'm gonna miss it." Like you just keep on trucking. Basically, that's like the secret of avodas Hashem, consistency, right? You're gonna fall. Someone's gonna do this. You're gonna fall, and you're gonna be blocked from like what you think is the premier way of serving God, and that's called a fall. And from the fall, you could get knocked down even further. In other words, that's the idea of the fall, is that it can go from level to level of a kuf. That kuf just keeps going down and down and down and down. Once you sort of get knocked off your game and you allow the shtus to hold you back, whether it's shtus from within or it could be shtus from without. Something happened to you, right? But again, what's your response to that? Are you going to take a response that you're going to allow it to drag you further and further? Or you're going to just have consistency and jump back and basically stay in the refinement process? Adarabba, what do you do when you get a fall? Mischazik b'zeh, you get strengthened from this. V'yisron koach b'derech milchama. In other words, just like it says in Tanya, that when one enemy gets strong, when one wrestler gets strong, the other one comes back and fights back with an extra strength. In other words, sometimes the opponent actually brings out your strength as opposed to diminishes your strength. That's what he's saying over there. So on the contrary, not only are you not affected negatively by the opponent and the fall, but the fall actually gives you strength. Because you fell, you'll never do that again. Right? And it brings you to a state of what's called avoda rabba, a great, stronger avoda. Asher yedua shezeh ikar hanitzuach, and it's known that this is the real victory. Shua tokef azrizus ba'avoda chula. It's the idea of strength and alacrity, quickness in avoda. In other words, not be sluggish. If you're going to win, you can't let your guard down. Basically, a true victorious person, he stays consistent. If you could be the stronger guy, it's like the mamish, the tortoise and the hare. Mamish, that's what it is. You know the story, right? Esau's fables or something. I don't know. But if you could be stronger, you could be faster. But if you're not consistent, you're going to lose. And that's the true power of victory. It's just like you never let your guard down. You're a constant underlying the thing. You're just a constant servant, and you're on the mission every second. They can knock you down, you could fall, they could run after, they could insult you, could do a million things. You're just going on your little tortoise pace. You're going to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot more encouraging than yesterday.
I may be a tortoise, but I'm a winner. I may be a turtle.
Hine al yedei zeh.
I know.
Hine al yedei zeh hu yisruna or hanaisim ibiru b'zichot hachoshech. So what happens here is you have a advantage of light, which comes from specifically refining and overcoming the darkness. In other words, what does it come out? It's the darkness itself which gave you that victory. You wouldn't be able to bring out the quality of nitzachon, of victory, if you didn't have an opponent sort of sitting against you, right? Like the whole Hasidic movement we talk about. Like the Hasidic movement, why are we still talking about misnagdim? They're like a thing of the past. Why are we obsessed with the misnagdim, right? We're always talking about them, every farbrengen, every this is a misnagdim. Because we need the misnagdim. The idea that there's something trying to stop the spreading of Hasidus into the world, even though the people who were trying to stop it of old are gone. And their forebears are wimpy compared to them. They're not stopping anything. But we talk about them and we give them a certain place because we need it. Because when there's resistance, you're like, oh, all right, it's on then. It's a fight. Let's do this. And we get all built up and we're going to go hit the streets and spread Hasidus more because there's some theoretical misnagid out there who's going to try and stop us, right? we keep them in the game. And it's because there's
Are you saying we need them to survive?
We need them to thrive, not to survive. You can survive without
competition.
Right, but to thrive. And what does it come out to? That the darkness, it actually brings a bigger light.
Is that what Israel's doing?
Is that what Israel's doing?
We need them to actually have a,
It's like burning
have a
the-
purpose.
Not exactly. Sometimes the opposition comes from, sometimes there actual are misnagdim, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you sort of create the misnagdim in your mind. Look, there are still misnagdim, but what's happening nowadays is that the misnagid, the Rebbe is trying to do this. Even nowadays in the world, and nowadays also in the Hasidic movement, the misnagid is within. You know the famous story when the Rebbe came up and he said, do everything I've done everything I can do. The rest is up to you.
Yeah.
Koach Nisan.
So
Right after that, everyone started screaming like, "We want Mashiach now! We want Mashiach now!" And the Rebbe came back to the mic, and he's like, you don't. He's like, you're only saying it from in your mouth. but you're still in an inner gullus,
Yeah.
right? And everything I said, it had no effect on you. In other words, what he's saying is that the misnagid is not the bad guys anymore out there. The world, the Rebbe said many times, is ready for Mashiach. It's us who sort of doesn't have it. So we have to overcome this inner misnagid,
You think
right?
it got better over 25 years?
Yeah, for sure. But we see how they work on
Every moment it's getting better, but we're not there yet.
I use your Facebook and Instagram.
Now the world is getting better, but are we
Spread
getting
messages.
better?
Opposite. World's getting worse, we're getting better.
No, the world's getting better.
Anyway, the point is that we could argue about the world, but what I'm trying to say is that the world, it's really us. You know, it's like, in other words, you could see, we're going to see what we've got right now, right? When there was, you know, a certain interesting thing that we saw with Obama is that there was like a fight between him and Netanyahu, right? Because he was kind of coming against us, and you got to shut this down, you got to do this. So it brought out a sort of Yiddish pride. You could see that the whole Am Yisrael sort of a little bit got together, like, okay, they're against us, we got to rally. So now they're not against us. Then it becomes out to, was that opposition good for us? You know, I mean, fortunately, there's still plenty of them that are against us, fortunately, right? But in other words, it's really like we have to. The Rebbe's whole vort was that even when there's no external misnagid, you have to be on the fight against the internal misnagid.
Do you have to bring in?
A goy asher bakir b'cha, it's called the goy within.
You know how like when SWAT shows up to like a scene, they come with like 500 guys, just like vans and vans. Like, is that the correct reaction? You have to come with like reinforcements and you have to fight it with like a lot of people, or
Everything we got, man. We got to unload every single thing we got. This is the end.
That's how it should be. But mitzvah tank, everyone goes to chilling.
Okay.
like what if you know you could beat them alone? Like, should you still bring people? Pretty much, is what I'm trying to say.
Bring everyone you got.
Should you go 1-on-1 or should you go like?
It's very hard to beat him alone. Man.
Quality versus quantity.
All right. Anyway,
That's your answer, right?
No.
it depends on what's needed for the job. Listen, sometimes you make a big noise, you alert the enemy. You know, you got everything is according to what the job requires. Sometimes with noise, sometimes with quiet. Okay, sometimes nuclear,
Massage, like
sometimes
silent.
boomerang. It all depends. Anyway, going on. So this is the inyan of the real nitzachon is that there's a zrizus in the avoda, and we see this zrizus is like an alacrity, like a staying on the mission, and then we see that the darkness actually was responsible for bringing a bigger level of light. That's why that's why the dafka, the goof, will in the future will be the seat of this sovev light, because it brought something to the table that all the soul in all of its sublime places could not bring to the table, which is the sovev light, this extra measure of or, which is beyond all the worlds. It's dafka from the enemy that you access that, right? So the real victory comes by specifically overturning the enemy, because it brings out, i.e., the victorious place in yourself. He's getting to something here. There's going to be a large part of this mind which is about the midah of netzach. That netzach is a very, very, very powerful midah, and it's basically it brings like an essential level of your soul to bear. It's the sovev of your soul, as it were. It's like the yechida of your soul. And what does it mean, though? It means victory, which means you can't access it without an opponent. Which means that your nefesh habahamas, the kuf, the leg of the kuf, is an absolute necessity in accessing the inyan of nitzachon, which is the ultimate goal of the whole thing. Which is why God created a world in such a way where He made a dark place, which needed to be overcome. Right? Hashem made this battle. We didn't make this battle. He made the battle because dafka through the battle can you access the essential light. It's not just here to torment us and give us problems. Right? The battle itself is the great summons forth the greatest part of us, the best thing we have. V'zeu al the alzman de la'asi lavo. That's why in the future, regarding the future, kesiv amdu raglav, it says that he will stand. Mashiach's legs will stand. Right on Har HaZeisim. Shu akima bebeis raglaim. And what does it mean? He'll stand. Standing requires two legs, which means he's gonna stand with 2 feet. Meaning what? The os kuf, which means the kuf hariyesh lo rak regel achas. It only has 1 leg. Vua kana shel kuf, and that's the kana, the reed of the kuf. The kiyumo hu bechad samcha. That its whole existence is like wobbly. It's on 1 leg. which means the klippa is not here to last. At best, it's a wobbly existence. The enu kiyum, that's not called kiyum. Sitting on one leg is not called lasting. Who the shikra lokai, and that's the idea that falseness won't last forever. It might last for a little while. It might be the underlying reason why people believe you. It's because there's a little bit of truth in there, but ultimately the false will not stand. Right? Sheker will show its ugly head eventually, and it'll go away. Just like the kuf, it's standing on one leg. It's not a healthy, established thing. Aval os hey, but the letter hey, hari yeshlo beis raglayim, it has two legs. Right? It stands firmly on the ground. That's the end of Mashiach. That amdu raglav, his feet will stand with firmness, because that's regarding turning the one-legged kuf into a two-legged hey. Shumad kushtakai, and that's the idea that truth does last forever. In other words, they can make a whole lot of noise and try and beat us up and throw into gullets and this jail and that prison. Guess what? We're still here. You cannot get rid of truth, right? And ultimately, they're all gone, because as big and scary as you are, if it's sheker, it's going to fall over at some point. So the two-legged yid, he's going to last. V'zeu v'amdu raglav b'beis raglayim, and that's what it means. His legs will stand on 2 feet. Uba al yedei avoda dehefech avoda la'afoch me'os kuf the klippa hanaysa mireish hanal, and it's going to come about to get this stability by the avoda of transforming the kuf of the klippa, which is made by the reish hanal, which is the absence of bitta, which creates these nasty deeds, turning that into a hay of kedusha. And that's why in the Mishkan, which was like a little miniature future revelation, messianic place, it says that it was standing with Atzei Shittim. The whole thing is mamish like the most perfect metaphor. It has amida, it stands. And the idea is that what's it standing from? It's standing from the Atzei Shittim, the shtus, which was converted, cutting off that kuf and making it have Atzei Shittim omdim. Right? These Atzei Shittim which are now standing, because you've turned the kuf into a hay. And what is the idea of standing? It means that it lasts forever and it will never change. Right? Something which is there to stay. It's called standing. And what is it that is there forever and never change? The Or Sovev. Like it says, Hashem says on himself, I am Hashem, I'll never change. When the light comes into the vessels of the Or Mamale and goes into this world, and then in a certain amount, and it goes into this world in the second amount, and it crawls into the vessels, and then it winds up being in a realm of change. We have winter, spring, summer, fall. Everything in this world is based on consistent change. Nothing in this world stays for even a second. Right? It lives and it dies. Because we're in a world of sheker. Right? That's why we experience like sort of a temporality, right, which the other spiritual worlds do not experience, is because we're living in a world of sheker. But the idea is that something which is truly godly, it never changes. And that's the idea of, I am Hashem, I've never changed. Even the creation of the world. There's a whole deep Kabbalistic concept of understanding how, even when Hashem, so to speak, created the world, it did not affect a change in Him. Right? You know, it looks like, well, before there was no world, now there is a world. Isn't that a change? Doesn't God therefore change? No, it's if you look at it in a very deep way, that the world was really always there, it was just totally nullified out of existence, because the light was shining. So what does it mean that all of a sudden the world was created? It means not that He made something that wasn't there and changed. He removed the revelation of light, which made it appear as though it was there and changing. But that's just a sheker. And we'll bring back the Sovev light, when we'll usher in this standing light, which means we'll bring a stability. It means we'll draw back the light that is now and was always there, but it's just temporarily concealed from us. And the Sovev will flood back into the Mamale. And this is what it means, that it will last forever. Ani Hashem lo shanisi. I am Hashem, I have not changed. It will be apparent readily and clearly to everybody's senses that the world and everything in it is enlivened from God. Os Tes. Kitzer. Krashim Omdim. We talked about the idea of the boards that are standing. Shemachabri Morein Sofa Olamos. And they are that, why are they called standing? Because they join the Or Ein Sof to the worlds, like a pillar which joins the ceiling to the floor. And we explained that through our service down below, Korsi Makana the Kuf V'naisa Hine. We cut off the lowly leg of the Kuf, And the word kana becomes the word hine. Dafka, from the darkness we create revelation. From the avoda with the darkness we create the hine Elokeinu zeh, which is a giloy or, which is a revelation of light to the level of ani Hashem lo shanisi. We create a standing eternal light that is never going away. Okay, so this is the final os now of the second mimer. Moving right along. And Zil, what's that?
Why is ani Hamay lo shanisi? Why is that? Why is that like the last? Why is that like the main point?
Because that means I am Hashem, I have not changed. That's the level of light, the standing. We're talking about standing means establishing something forever. So what does it mean we actually win this battle and bring down the light, which is, so to speak, standing, this pillar, right, which joins the Or Ein Sof to the world? It makes that the Or Ein Sof is also in this world, which means that even in this world of Sheker, in this world of change, there's going to be an unchanging, consistent light of God, which never goes away. So that's the whole point. That represents the light of the Sovev, which is not subject to change, which will be revealed when we cut off the kuf and create hine.
And right now there is a gap, like in the pillar. Let's say like the pillar, it's like not fully joining, or what?
Yeah, there's areas which the pillar did not reach yet, right? Every area which does not have godly revelation in it.
In this world.
In this, well, only in this world. There's every other world has godly revelation.
Yeah.
So the goof, so there's place in us, right? Every single person still has aspects in their life where that pillar does not reach. There's still parts of you that you think you've got something other than God going on in your life, right? And that's all the areas where you slip into this below the line, in these areas of selfishness, of taking a little piece here, eating a little extra there, wasting time, doing something for yourself. That's the pillar's not reaching there. But don't be forlorn. That victory is the whole purpose why you have that part of yourself, to convert that from a monkey into a man, from a kuf into Adam, which is thought, speech, and action of Kedusha. And only because you have that flaw, are you the one who's responsible and has the ability to mamish bring the Or Ein Sof into all the universes. You know, so it's your guide of how to serve Hashem.
Is it like a divine consciousness? Is that like the English way to say it?
Yeah.
Divine consciousness.
Consciousness, but divine consciousness is the Dalit. But the divine consciousness, the way you know that it's pervasive in all of your activities is if you're a hey and not a kuf, because the left leg is what makes your actual deeds, right? So what's going on in your consciousness is all fine and good, but you might be fooling yourself to walk around and say, yeah, I'm pretty much a man who has divine consciousness. You know, I'm a Shiva Bacher. But when it comes down to it, any area in your actual active life,
like service,
which is not in place, right, which is not in accordance with your divine consciousness, it shows that you actually don't have divine consciousness all the time.
Right.
Because if it's leaking out into the kuf, it means that you're a reish in there somewhere, not a dalit. Yeah.
We're talking about the kuf coming out down the line. It might not be the right place here, but the lam goes up, so you get like above the line.
Mm-hmm.
So does that have like the opposite of bringing something down? It's like the vav bringing it down?
Yeah, the lamed, yeah. Lamed is in the Limud HaTorah. It goes up.
Is there anyone who's like fully hay right now?
A Beinoni is a hay.
Like people like I guess like people like live people that are.
I would imagine that there are. I don't know if there's any in this room, but there's probably some people Beinonis in the world. It's a rare breed, but you can get there. One can get there.
Well, we gotta like bring one in to like speak, you know.
We could try. Listen, we could try. If you know any, definitely call upon them. What's that?
Control your thought, your mindset, even for 1 minute. At that 1 minute, you can see it like a baby. It's a level.
Okay.
Still not the title.
Yeah, you don't have the title Beinoni, but
Not a baby, but
you could be mistaken for a Beinoni to yourself for a moment.
I mean, but that's what it's,
No, it doesn't say that time. You'll show me. But anyway, no, it says a Beinoni is a person who has mastered the level of. Then what's a Rasha V'tovlo in that case? Because I think that's what you're describing.
There's no expression of natural comments, any evil expression coming with God, either in action.
Rasha V'tovlo?
The Albanian.
Okay, what's a Rasha V'tovlo?
A Rashi put it, a person that, a Rasha that he has his evil that still expresses in his machshava, but doesn't.
All the time?
Oh.
Huh?
He can easily push it off.
So he doesn't have it all the time.
He has it all the time.
No, he doesn't have it all the time. That's what I'm telling you. In other words, sometimes he could look like a Beinani because he's in certain moments he's mastering his thought, speech, and action. So I think that's what you're describing as a Rasha V'Tovla, because someone a Beinani is someone who always and it actually says every single moment of his life, even in the past. And the Rebbe has a whole mimer in Parshas Chai Sarah in Sefer Maimarim over there. I forget which. If you find it, where he explains how is it possible a person can become a Beinani. So then, how can you say he never had any thought, speech, and action in his whole Mikol Yimei Chayav? Because it says it goes back, like retroactively. If you become a Beinani, you can actually make it so that your entire history is cleared, right? So, what you're talking about is that a regular person who decides to control himself for a few minutes, he's called a Rasha V'Tovla, right? Not a Beinani. A Beinani is a Shema Torah. It's a title that you achieve, which you are now on a level. Okay, you could always fall from that level, but you won't. That's the point. If you'll live your whole life having never fallen from that level, so you'll never even know of a person to Beinani until the day they die. Frankly.
Whoa.
Right? Because the fact of the matter is that if he falls from that level for 1 second, he was never a Beinani. His whole life, he was a Rasha V'Tovla. All right.
Avisil is definitely a Beinani.
Doesn't the Tanya call it a
What's that?
Tzaddik, man.
I don't know. I never heard of such a thing.
Well,
Could be.
possible he had a negative thought.
All right, let's go on a little bit. We still have a few minutes. I'd like to start Os Yud. Hine zehu va'asu limitas v'shachanti b'sochem. So going back and wrapping it up, this is what it means. Make me a mikdash and I'll dwell within them. B'socho lo nemar el b'socham. It doesn't say I'll dwell within it, but it says I'll dwell within them, which means you're the mikdash. That's what the whole idea of making these shatzei shitim and omdim. It's not talking about a tent in the desert. It's talking about you. V'soch kol echad ve'echad, inside of every single one of us. B'chol echad ve'echad kasher mahapech mechashuch l'nehora. Every single person, when he transforms his darkness into light, which by the way means you have to have darkness first, so don't beat yourself up. You're filled with just enough darkness to turn it over into light. What happens? You reveal the glory of God in all the worlds. And what does it mean? Not to stop, it comes down by world in a way of distinction. It comes simultaneously in all the world. You draw down a level of light which is called equal in all the worlds, the Sovev light. Shanas, by turning your darkness into light.
Do they get it revealed?
They get it revealed, not necessarily revealed. And again, if you think about it, it's not really revealable in the context of anything having to do with gullus. Because so long as we're not seeing like some kind of new reality where infinite and finite can dwell together, we don't even know what it means, revealed. But revealed in the sense that you can see it, in the sense that you see the change. In other words, you can 100% see it. When you turn your darkness into light, that itself is a revelation. And what's the revelation? You only can do that through an inyan of netzach. You become victorious. So the power in you of overcoming darkness, that's for sure revealed. And you feel that. You're a different person. Because you've been like, you've summoned powers of your own self to the fore. You can call that self-confidence. You can call it like a lot of things, right? You can call it like happiness, right? You can call it healthiness, balance. You can call it a lot of things. So you can feel that. But in terms of the revelation of what the Or Sovi looks like, as far as like God is concerned in the higher universes, I mean, that will be, we're waiting to see that until the whole world finishes. Well, so long as there's a dark corner of the world left, then the ultimate Soviv is not here yet. Just like the presence of it is it's like patchwork coming into every place that you allow it into. Right? So he says that this is nasi yisra or by doing this job you create an advantage of light more than the regular light, which only comes from an overcoming of the enemy. That the light shines in a revealed way. And this is what it means. The shitim wood. Shitim wood means that which is refined from shtus. And that's why they're also called boards by the name krashim. This is exactly what's been refined from the false words of sheker, which means false, and kesher, which means to connect. It says the resh and the kuf keep their connection, through the sheker of like grabbing a little bit of a shin and trying to maintain their own private existence. That's called the kesher. Those are both sort of negative combinations of the letters, and when you refine them, birur zeh nasi karshi mishkan. You make keresh, right? So the keresh in the mishkan is dafka the transformation of sheker. You can only get to this advantage of light if you have darkness. And what does this look like in our avodas Hashem? Is that in your occupation in Torah mitzvahs, you transform the feeling of the world, the Weltgefühl, right? The feeling of worldliness, and like you're a man of the world, and you're sort of like just that feeling of being like an independent agent, that you have your own sort of mission that's not the godly mission, which we all sort of feel that sometimes, right? Turning that into a hergesh eloki, realizing that there is no other mission except for a godly mission. Whatever mission you're involved in is your godly mission. Hainu de hergesh ha'olam hu lamata min hadas kanal, and we said before in the early mimer that the feeling of self, the feeling of your private mission, it's also irrational, right? Why should you go to college? Why should you come and be an architect? Okay, you could might as well be whatever. It's there's no like rhyme or reason to the fact that we said before. People decide they're going to shake hands, or people they're going to decide to kiss two cheeks. There's all kinds of just like min haga olam, and don't even fool yourself that it's like a rational thing. It's just stam bichlal. It's just like it's ludicrous. Everything's ludicrous. Everything that goes on is just like cause it's there. Kacha, as they say in Hebrew, just cause. So don't think that there's like some kind of premier rationality to your line of thought and what job you're going to take. It's all crazy. So he's saying, turn the crazy into crazy for Kedusha. It might as well just as easily be you're a nutcase Avram Avinunik who goes around the world converting the world to godliness and making them realize that's crazy also. I agree with you. It's no crazier than being a dentist. So he said it's from turning the feeling of self, a foolishness of self, into the foolishness of Kedusha. Turning the feeling of worldliness, which is below intellect, below rationality, and by occupying yourself in Torah mitzvahs, which is also irrational, you're just going to leave this whole world behind and do something totally godly. You turn that irrationality of worldliness into an irrationality of godliness. As menzal deher dem noam arevus, then we can start to experience the pleasantness and the sweetness shebekiyum mitzvahs v'limun Torah, of what it means really, the delicate, sensitive, wonderful feeling of what it means to be a mitzvah doer and a Torah learner. Vezeu basi legani liginuni, and that's what it means. I've come to my garden, to my chuppah, l'makom shayikaro betechila, to the place where I, so to speak, originally was. Right, the whole mimer is called Basi Legani. I've come back to my garden. I've come back to my chuppah, the place I originally married. Meaning to say that the initial intention of creating the worlds, Hashem wanted to be married to this world. He didn't want there to be a place in this world where he was disconnected from. And when he actually made the world to begin with, he made it in such a way that pillar was totally connected. Right? So that's where he says, I was originally married to this world. If it wasn't for the sin of Adam and the sin of Cain and all the sins, the 7 sins that pushed the Shekhinah away from the world, I would have still been married to this world. That's what it means. I've come to my wedding place, the place that I originally was married to. Now, why did Hashem let us sin and push it away and create this balagan? Because He wanted that we should be the ones, that the ultimate light should come, that it's an immovable light. See, that, even though it was a certain level of makif and a certain level of soviv that was joined here, because if it hit the bottom and it was all the way to the top, it was a level of sovev, but there's different levels of sovev. And that was obviously a level of sovev which was susceptible to change. Anything which is susceptible to change is not the ultimate level of atzmus and sovev, which is ani Hashem lo shanisi. The true God cannot change. Right? So the fact that the light was able to be removed from this world meant that ultimately it was not the ultimate level of infinite enduring light. And therefore, only by the tachton doing the work, us cutting off the hay, allowing the room for a seeming separation, only for us to be victorious over that separation and triumph on our own, that draws forth a two-legged Mashiach who's going to stand, that it will be enduring forever. So there was reason to this madness, that he wants to come back to his garden dafka. The return is what makes it eternal. And this is this is accomplished by us, by subjugating, transforming. Adam hua osikin, and we're the one that has the power to do that. We're the one with the free choice. We'll hold here. What's that?
Yeah, I know you don't want to go.
Next mimer.
You very glad
It's for my mind.
These teachings, these deep teachings that go to the soul, Yaakov, keep it on, I might not. The question and answer time. Okay.